And we are live. How's it going, everybody? We are back at it again for episode 2 of the Intermediate Gamers podcast, brought to you by yours truly, Mr. Player 2, and my co-host, Perfy.
Yo, what up, everybody? How's it going? Happy hump day.
It is a wonderful Wednesday again. Pretty excited about this week's episode. Perfy, if you want to kind of talk us about what our topics are for this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. So our two topics. The first one is your 3 favorite peanut butter based sandwich. This came off the back of I was at Fantasy Football and we were talking about peanut butter, banana, and some other things came up, and other people had some pretty hot topics on the different peanut butter based sandwiches they liked. So figured I'd see what other people thought, what other people liked, and feel free to comment down below if you're watching on YouTube or if you're on Twitch or wherever at, what you think is your top 3 favorite peanut butter based sandwich. Then after that, we're going to talk about collectively our top 10 or each of our top 5 tips to new content creators, new streamers, people that want to make content out there, whether it's podcast, gaming content, education, doesn't matter. Whatever you want to create, this is our tips to you.
All right, yeah. So that is tonight's plan. I'm pretty excited about it. Perfy actually brought it up, I think early last week, or no, it was definitely last week. He was going to ask me about my sandwiches. I think I was in the little stream or something. I was like, save it for the podcast. I feel like I'm doing that to like half of our conversation now. Like, save it for the podcast. Because that was the original like concept behind why I wanted to start this. Is we would have these like 30 minutes to an hour long conversations on just. Sometimes it would be just the most random things. Like I remember one time it was me, you, Kevin. We were all talking about barbecue, like different types of barbecue and stuff like that. And that could get so heated too. But it was just like we'd have these giant conversations. So, I thank Perfy for always having these awesome topics ready to go. And I'm just super excited to finally show them to the world, as it were. So we'll go ahead and get started with our first one. Get switched over here, and so we've got our top 3 peanut butter based sandwiches. So just to preface this conversation, so we're talking about the sandwich has to have peanut butter on it, and then we're talking about what is the additional thing to the peanut butter as we're making the sandwich. So no just peanut butter sandwiches. It's got to be something with the peanut butter. Is that correct?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. Perfy, if you want to start us off, what is one of your top 3 peanut butter based sandwiches and why?
All right. So one of my top 3 is I get a strawberry compote, which you can either make yourself, or if you go to like a local farmer's market or whatnot and combine it with peanut butter, and it creates a nice salty sweets, a little bit of savory umami from the compote. It's just like the perfect mixture. I'd probably put that as like maybe my number 3, maybe my number 2, but it's definitely up there. I love that sandwich. I destroy it. Like if I make strawberry compote and I have peanut butter available, I don't stop eating it until it's gone. Like I'll eat my breakfast, I'll have it, my lunch will have it, my dinner will have it. I won't eat anything else until it's gone because it's so good.
Okay. So, I agree with a lot of what you said. Me personally though, I enjoy like fruit, and especially the berry variety of fruits, extremely. And so I'm always on the hunt for a like really good, like mixed berry, like compote, jam, jelly, whatever, for my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I think like just a combination of flavor. Strawberry is a must-have. Like if your mixed berry does not have strawberry in it, I don't want it. It's out. Get it out of my face. Get rid of it. I don't want it. I don't care. So that strawberry is a must. That is a dead set requirement. But I'm always like, add in some blackberry, add in some raspberry. Like the flavors that those bring with the strawberry. It's like eating, like it's like with smoothies, right? Like you don't just want to get just strawberry. Like throw in some other stuff, man. It makes it enhances all the flavors together. So I would have to say like a mixed berry. If I'm going with a jelly or a jam as a thing, mixed berry is key for me.
Okay, okay. You got the little tartness from the raspberry in there too. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
you get it. You get it.
Yeah, yeah. You got the perfect mixture. I like it. I like it. That sounds quite good. Quite good. I'd probably say for my next favorite, it's pretty basic. It's definitely peanut butter banana. Banana's like a staple for me. I eat it for breakfast after the gym. I eat it in my milkshakes when I make them. I eat it with my protein shakes when I feel adventurous enough to pull out the blender and put my protein into a blender. I'll throw a banana in there. Banana and peanut butter, classic combination. Definitely my number three. So two and three, strawberry banana and peanut butter banana. Those are just like where I'm at.
Okay, so I'm gonna have a really hot. So I have three thoughts. So you'll have to excuse me. My first thought, hot take. Maybe it's because I ate them so much when I was younger. Like, I agree. Peanut butter banana, classic combination. Cannot go wrong. On a sandwich though, I find it a little dull. Like, it's a little boring for me. Um, and it's probably because like I had them a ton when I was a kid. Like, going to make a sandwich, we had bread, peanut butter, banana. I knew what I was having for lunch. Like, it was standard, right? So that's my first thought. My second thought is this conversation reminded me of I was at a friend's house way back in high school, right? We went down to his grandma's house actually. I was staying the night, up late night playing video games. You know the drill, right? Classic weekend. Next day, I don't even know if we'd gotten to sleep yet, right? So we're hanging out, we're playing games. His grandma walks in and asks if we're hungry, right? And so I'm just like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of hungry. And then she provides me with the craziest option. And apparently it's a common thing. She asks, do you want a banana and mayonnaise sandwich? And thank
Grandma,
you for
no, no, Grandma,
right.
please.
That's what I looked at her, I was like, I misheard. She meant, and I'm just looking at my friend, I'm like, you meant peanut butter, right? And he was like, no, mayonnaise. Apparently, and I've lived in North Carolina for most of my life since I was probably like 7 or 8, maybe even younger. I know, in fact, I was younger, probably since I was like 5. So I've been in the South. I've been there. Apparently, this is a common thing, and it took me to a high school to even realize, to even know about it. My buddy's like, yeah, I eat them all the time. It's like, this is not common. Peanut butter is the common one, not mayo. So yeah, that was my other thought on that. It's just, it reminded me of that story happening. So, yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't hate it. It's just, it's not gonna go in my top 3 because I just don't think it provides enough flavor on its own. Now, you take the peanut butter, you take the banana, and then you take a little bit of drizzle of a good honey. And now you're talking. Now I'm in. Now I'm in. It's the banana by itself just doesn't bring enough for me. I need a little bit of sweetness with the honey. I like the texture of it with the peanut butter. It makes it a little bit softer. It doesn't stick. In fact, honey is great because it actually makes the sandwich not stick to the roof of your mouth quite as much, which makes it easier to eat. So I'm gonna steal the banana and I'm gonna add some honey to it, and that's my combo for number 3.
Okay. Let me ask you something real quick. On either of these choices that you've presented so far, is the bread room temperature? Is it toasted? Is it cold?
Ooh.
How do you prefer your bread to be made out?
That's a serious question. Okay, so for the normal like jam, so with my mixed berry one, right? I'm just straight up regular bread. In fact, my go-to bread for the past like probably 2 years has been the Pepperidge Farm butter bread, not buttermilk. It is butter bread. It's got a yellow label on the line where the type goes. That is my go-to bread. It's nice, it's soft, it's got a little hint of butter on it. Slap the peanut butter up there, slap the mixed berry jam up there, close it, you're good to go. When I'm talking about the banana and honey, I don't know if you've tried this, but having toasted bread for most sandwiches is Like it's peak. It adds a Christmas. If I'm doing the banana and honey sandwich, I am 100% giving that thing a little bit of toast. The peanut butter melts a little bit. Go to.
Yep. That's where it's at. The little tiny bit of like heat that rises into the peanut butter changes the texture and makes it like a game changer.
Yeah.
Also, Pepperidge Farm, great choice. The only issue I have with it is, if I ever get a little frisky in the kitchen, I gotta put it back into the cabinet because Pepperidge Farm remembers, and I don't want them remembering any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. You got a point there. You got a point.
Doors. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So my number one is, I don't know. I love it. I don't think I've ever seen anyone else do it, but maybe more people will try it. Who knows? It is peanut butter, toasted bread, by the way, still, because you want that little bit of heat. Toasted bread, maybe if it's fresh out of the oven, freshly baked bread, whatever you want to do, as long as there's a slight heat element to it. Add peanut butter, add Nutella. It's based. You get that chocolate peanut butter. It's so good. It's so good. It's like you're having a better Reese's cup with higher quality ingredients. That's where it's at. It's my number one.
Perfy, I'm starting to think we could have just done one list. Because, okay, everyone watching, okay, we had not discussed. I actually actively refused talking to him about this. Like, I was like, save it for the podcast. We want to talk about this later. I've not talked about this with him at all. This is complete. Like, this is the first time I'm hearing any of his choices for peanut butter sandwiches. Honest to God, swear on the Bible, whole 9 yards. So for lunches here lately, I've been getting Uncrustables. They're super easy to pack. They've got a good amount of protein in them. I can just grab one out of the freezer, throw it in my lunch bag, take it to work. By the time it gets to my lunchtime, because I'm a teacher, so my lunch is set. Like, I don't get to just choose what it is during the day. So by the time I get to my actual assigned lunchtime, it's ready to eat. It's good to go. The number one choice that I pick up from the store is the chocolate hazelnut spread Uncrustables, which is basically Nutella. It's basically Nutella. It's the same thing. I think the only difference with the Smuckers, because I get the Smuckers version with those, the only difference between the Nutella, I think it's like a hazelnut. Nutella is purely just the hazelnut. Does it have the chocolate in it? I don't get Nutella very often.
Nutella does not. It's just purely hazelnut.
Okay, so the one that we get for Smuckers it's a chocolate hazelnut spread. So I think that's the only difference between what you're getting and what I'm getting with my sandwiches is it's got that hint of chocolate along with it.
Yep.
But no, I like them straight cold. I know this sounds weird. I like them straight cold. I've eaten one of these kind of like frozen one time, and so it still had it was almost like eating like an ice cream bar that's been shoved in the middle. And it actually tasted so good. So
it does, but it's so hard to bite into. My teeth get cold. I'm like, no. I can't do it.
I'm gonna go with the chocolate Uncrustable.
Let's go. So for anyone watching, just note something like big brain plays. Also, slight money saver. There is a little contraption you can buy on Amazon, or there's probably everywhere, where you can make your own Uncrustables from bread slices. And it's pretty dope. And you can just make your own Uncrustable. You take 2 slices of bread, you put whatever you want in between it, whether it's, Nutella, whether it's peanut butter and jelly, and then you put it into a little contraption, you go, and it basically like seals it down for you and cuts off the crust. And you have to make that sound effect too, otherwise it doesn't work.
Right.
And then you just like, if you're meal prepping, you make like 50 of them. You throw a bunch of them into like a airtight container. You pop them in the freezer when you need them. Thaw them for a little bit. They don't even make it to the freezer, in all honesty. I put them in the fridge. When I want them, I microwave them for like 10 seconds, and then they're just like ooey gooey and amazing. And they're just like 10 out of 10.
Only I 100% agree. Only word of warning I would give on that is if you plan on meal prepping them, they only last good in the freezer for I think it's like 2 to 3 weeks. So just make sure you're eating them before then. Like, they would never last that long in the freezer for me anyways, but just if you're making 50 of them, just be aware you need to eat that 50 in about 2 to 3 weeks. Is all I'm saying.
That's very true. 50 of them only last like an hour for me, so that's just that's like a pre-stream
No,
snack.
no. I do love that idea because you can get really fancy with it with especially if you're trying to like watch your macros, add in fiber, so you can like really get choosy with like the bread you put into it. You can reduce the carbs. But that actually leads me to my point. So when you're making these sandwiches, I wanted to ask before we moved on to the next topic. The other heated conversation that I always get into regarding these sandwiches is what is your ratio of peanut butter to other stuff?
Oh yeah, so that's a great question. And wow, this is a big topic. So I obviously don't measure it by any means. Like I can't name a single human who measures the contents of peanut butter versus other things, but it's dependent on the other things. So I try and make it so that it's like 60-40, 70-30, depending on how this is going to sound weird, but how moist or how wet the other object is. So, for example, like jelly or the strawberry compote, it can be pretty moisturizing, and so you don't necessarily need a ton of it to make it so that the peanut butter isn't overwhelming inside your mouth, and it's pretty aesthetic. Honey, it's pretty moist, but you need a little bit more of it compared to the compote. In regards to the Nutella, it's pretty damn close to 50-50 because Nutella isn't the most moist by comparison. It's a little viscous. So it's pretty much 50-50 in that regards. But yeah, I wanted to have a nice mouthfeel. Mouthfeel means a lot to me when it comes to food, which I think it should to most people.
Okay. So for me, it's pretty much 50-50 all the way. But I want to clarify what that means. Like, I'm not just talking about like you grab like a little bit of peanut butter and make sure it's like evenly spread across the bread, and then you put the jam. Like, when I'm talking 50-50, I'm talking about sandwiches thick. I want
Yeah.
50% of it. Like, I want a thick layer of peanut butter and a thick layer of jelly.
Okay.
But I want that ratio to be even, but I want it to be substance there. Like, don't give me no like thin layer of peanut butter and throw some jam up there. And it may be 50-50, but like like the bread is thicker than either of the other components. No. Like, I want it even components. Like, even like bread, peanut butter, jelly should all be the same value all the way through.
Sure. Not
So-
too much bread. No, I get that. Fair warning to anybody who attempts to use P2's 50-50 ratio on jam. Heavily center it so that it doesn't literally all fall out when you turn it sideways.
True. In fact, the Encrustable machine comes in handy if you want to do that because it closes it all together. Nothing escapes.
That is very true because trust me, you go heavy on the jam the moment you lift that sandwich up, unless you're like eating it like this. And
It's going everywhere.
everything goes over. Yeah. You're licking the plate. You're like, oh, I can't waste it. It's too good. Triple berry. Let's go. Okay. We got some good information here. Love to see it. Also, it looks like Zerlana in the chat. Big fan of peanut butter and honey, peanut butter banana, and peanut butter jelly. Classics.
Yeah,
Huge
she's
fan.
definitely a fan. In fact, here lately when we're getting those Uncrustables from the store, I'll get the Nutella versions, and then she'll get the peanut butter and honey versions because those are her favorite.
Oh yeah. Man, Uncrustables are dope. They were a real game changer when they first came out. I know that I first learned about them watching Summit 1G on Twitch. He would not stop talking about them. I'm like, what the heck is an Uncrustable? Went to the grocery store, saved my life.
All right, so I feel like this is a good segue into our second half of the podcast segment, which is top 10 tips for new creators. So if you're looking to get into Twitch, if you're looking to start creating content, becoming a streamer, I have been doing it now for it'll be we're at 3.5 years, I believe. 2022, 2025, April will be my third year. Perpy, you've been doing it for at least for Twitch. I think I was doing it a little bit longer on Facebook, is where I started out. Perpy, you've been doing it even longer, right?
Yeah, I'm going on like 10 years now. I've been streaming for a very, very long time. So For the record, this is a do as I say, not as I do type scenario. Because trust me, Perfy done goofed up many a times.
I preach, brother, preach. That's all I can say on that.
Yeah, yeah.
So he I think the one that's been on my mind the most, especially when this topic I'll go ahead and start us off when this topic kind of got introduced by you. The number one tip I can say that has personally helped me, as well as I think it's just kind of underrated, is short form content is the way to go these days. And spreading your web as far as you can is how you do it. So what I mean by that is most visibility on most platforms is actually kind of terrible. Um, Twitch specifically is what I can mention at. Like, if you're only going to stream on Twitch, it can be very, very difficult to find your way to grow. The visibility search functions on Twitch, lots of popular streamers have talked about this. Lots of people have talked about this. It's just not that good for newer streamers. Like, the way they default their lists, the way they it's actually harder to find like newer streamers on the platform than it is to find popular streamers. Like, I can sort through my list right now, and like it actually defaults it to viewers high to low, for my follow channels. And so to do that for my follow channels, it's doing it even more with looking at categories and things like that. Like, if you don't have a certain amount, like, you're never going to pop up on the For You page, first of all. And then beyond that, like, it's not even like the categories, like some of the categories are so filled with people doing content. Like, if you're a newer streamer, you're just going to get overlapped and overshadowed. So you have to like spread as much as you can. You can't just rely on one platform. You've got to be on pretty much everything these days to be able to grow. You got to be doing YouTube Shorts and TikToks. You've got to be on, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like as many places you can be. Spread your net as far and wide as you can, because you're just going to catch more fish that way.
Yep. To go ahead and kind of explain that in a different way, the way that I think about it is I think about ad revenue, right? So if you think about big companies, multi-billion-dollar companies, multi-million-dollar companies, when they pay for ad revenue, they're paying top dollar for whatever platform has the most views. So think of the Super Bowl. Every year they know that the TV channel most people are going to be tuned into is the Super Bowl. To watch it, millions and millions. That's why they pay the most money in ad revenue or ad costs to buy an ad space during the Super Bowl. Same thing here. You want the most possible eyes available to you at any given time. So you want to spread it to as many platforms as possible to give yourself even a 0.01% chance of landing on someone's space, because you multiply that across a year, you'll probably end up coming across hundreds of viewers instead of just sticking to one platform. So I'm going to say this, and I apologize in advance. It's going to sound a little mean, but platform whoring, way to go.
Agreed. All right. So, tip number 1, spread your net. I think we can both agree that's really, really important. Tip number 2, Perfy.
Tip number 2, this isn't necessarily my number 1 tip, but it is a tip that I love to give people, and that is networking. Networking is incredibly invaluable. So that whether that's, creating a group of streamers that, you guys naturally have very similar stream times, have similar hobbies, people that you like, whether you're every day you have a time slot that you can lead into someone that you've networked with or a friend with, and then you can raid to them. You guys spend a little bit of time together, kind of intermingle your communities. There's so many possible ways to make networking work, both in a mutual favor between you and whoever you're networking with, as well as worst case scenario, you're making a friend. Like, friends never hurt to have. I met P2 and Zerlana a little while back while streaming. I'll be honest, I was just a viewer. They were just a viewer, but we networked. We got to enjoy each other some more. We met more friends in common. We met amazing people like Eternal Sock Boy, Man Ruthless. We just like continued networking and meeting people. And just I don't know. I'm just gonna say this: doing something every single day or whatever your schedule is for creating content or streaming with other people is always infinitely more enjoyable when you know there's other people there with you. So networking is invaluable in both your personal life as well as your professional life.
I 100% agree. That was definitely going to be one of my tips too. In fact, personal story. When I decided to move from Facebook gaming to Twitch, people told me like it's really, really difficult to become an affiliate on Twitch. Um, like it's not easy because you have to get that one of the baseline requirements. You have to have an average of 3 viewers, and I was like, all right, bet. So when I sat down, I was just like, if I my goal was to just interact with as many people and uh with as many people as possible, and not really promote myself, but just like as topics came up, introduce that into, my streaming platform. And I was able to get affiliate, I think, within like 3 or 4 months of streaming on Twitch the first time. Like it was a really quick turnaround. Like I think I started streaming beginning of that year and became an affiliate by like April or May. And it's all thanks to the friends I made. Like Perpy helped out. He was always a consistent viewer. Eternal Sockboy was mentioned before. Like and what I've noticed is the more I actually and I think that's been my struggle here lately, is the more I actually sit down and like just talk and hang out with other people, they become interested in me and want to come, hang out with me on my stream. It has grown my community. I definitely I can attest that it has been an invaluable asset of networking and just meeting other people and having more friends.
Oh, P2, on that note, side note, I'm going to throw this out there. I'm going to DM you something about networking. I got you. I
Oh,
don't want to
bet.
talk about it today, but maybe later.
All right. Sounds dope. Sounds dope. All right. So next tip number 3. I would say tip number 3, thinking of like my top list, consistency is key. Um, I know, Perfy. It's not against you, but I'm right too. I'm right. I'm doing a challenge right now. I'm trying to stream every day for this entire year. When I say consistency is key, is like having a schedule set to it. It's like it's the same reason like shows on TV would be popular. Like people knew when they got home, they ate dinner, Jeopardy came on at 6. The world would, like, the household would stop. I don't know if 6 is the correct time. What time is it, Perfy? You're shaking your head.
No shot. Jeopardy never came on at 6.
What time did it come on?
That was a 5:30 thing, 5 o'clock.
Okay, Jeopardy
like,
or was it Wheel of Fortune at 6?
See it.
Yeah, or was it Wheel of Fortune? I don't. But you get my point. Like, it would come on, and like the household would sometimes almost stop to watch that show. And it was but it became like a nightly thing because it was consistent. And so you have to think about your stream or your content as you were making a show. And if that show is not consistent, people are left wondering why. People get confused. You bounce back and forth between viewership. Like, you have to be consistent because your viewers need that reliability.
Oh yeah. I will definitely agree to this and attest that. So for a while, I'm just gonna be transparent. I was in between jobs at one point in my in time, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to stream a bunch while I'm searching for a job. And I streamed a lot, a good amount, and I was very consistent, and it was quite awesome. The streams were very, very good. Tons of people to interact with. It was great. Consistency is key. And to further point out P2's situation of like coming home and watching TV, humans are creatures of habit. They will naturally find things that work into their schedule, and then they'll just consistently do it over and over and over and over again. One of the reasons why people quit going to the gym is because it's always at an inconvenient time. Every single morning when I woke up for cartoons before school, I had Sailor Moon, Hey Arnold, all of the good stuff just before school. And believe me, I would wake up consistently, I'd be like, I've got to watch Sailor Moon before we go to school. No big deal. People will continuously make it a part of their routine if they enjoy it and it's consistent. So consistency is definitely key. Also, a huge shout out to Mr. Player 2. He's on day like 248 out of 365, which is going to be crazy because at the start of the next year, he's going to make the same commitment again. He'll be like 366 out of 730.
Well, it's funny because I did this on a leap year, so I'm already gonna have to go to 366 and 365 because I'm on a leap year, so I'm gonna have one extra day. There's been heavy talks of like, do I just keep going to see how long I can go?
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see.
And one final thing to this point, consistency isn't strictly just live streaming. Consistency also needs to be there for other forms of content if you make it as well. So if you're doing TikTok shorts, YouTube shorts, short form content, I don't know, if you're writing guides, if you're writing articles, consistency works across the board. So whether you're streaming on Monday or doing short form content afterwards on Wednesday, if you do it consistently, people will just gravitate towards inserting it into their schedule. And then to double down on the networking, if you're constantly in a time slot, if you're consistently there, you'll notice other people are consistently playing in other time slots. So if P2 is streaming at 6 p.m. until 9 p.m., and I don't know, I'm just going to throw a name out there. If like Summit's streaming from 9 p.m. to midnight, it's a naturally occurring thing that if people end up enjoying both streams, they'll start with P2, P2 will transition over to someone else and go straight into Summit or something along those lines, straight into me. It doesn't really matter. You'll notice a natural flow of people and you'll start to intermingle communities naturally based off of a time progression. It's very interesting how it works. There's a lot of psychology behind it, but that'll take up too much time and we'll go into that another day.
Speaking of too much time, we've spent like I think 15 minutes and we've only gotten through like 3. So we're
gonna turbo these out.
Yeah, let's do some hot fire rounds real quick. All right, so number 4, what you got?
Number 4, know your strengths. I think it's very important to understand that there's a million League of Legends streamers out there, but there's no League of Legends streamer out there like you. There's a million content creators, but there's none out there like you. Identify what makes you unique, whether it's how you engage with users, whether you're maining exclusively one champion and you're doing cool, unique things, you're creating content in a unique way. Identify what you're good at and just roll with it. Just like continue using your strengths to your advantage. Because if you just pigeonhole yourself into a category of, hey, I'm only going to play League of Legends and that's all I'm going to identify about myself, that's all other people are going to identify about you too. And you'll just end up with the vast millions of other streamers and content creators in that same category.
So my next step actually follows along a little bit with that, kind of like knowing your niche. It's also using your data effectively. So what I mean by that is like if you want to get into league streaming, so if you're paying attention to trends on Twitch, and seeing when these big streamers are streaming, if you can help it. Now I get people's schedules are people's schedules, but if you can, do not stream at those times. Like I know like this weekend, LCS is gonna have a huge has their playoff stuff, right? I'm not gonna stream League of Legends this weekend because there's no one that's gonna watch that realistically outside of maybe my small group of friends. Like I'm not gonna get any new viewers that way. That's not happening. Because they should realistically be watching that, and I'm not big enough to co-stream it yet either. So like that's not a category or a time slot that I want to focus my time on. So using your data by knowing like what you want to stream and then when you can find those slots to stream in it so you can actually gain viewers and followers is really, really important.
Oh, absolutely. My next tip is interact. Whether you're posting something on YouTube, TikTok, you're live streaming, interact with your audience, interact with comments, speak to the people. It's the only way that they're going to get to know you and create that connection with you so that they want to keep coming back. Interact. It's something that is important, and you'll notice that people will start to fall away from their favorite streamers the moment they stop interacting with you.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I've had some issues with that in the past, personally, and I'm working on like getting better with that. My thing to go along with that is, and this is gonna sound probably cliche, is don't be afraid. Like, people live for, uh, y- people are going to watch you for you, right? They want authenticity. Sorry, struggled there. They want an authentic version of you. So don't be afraid to like be yourself, because if someone is going to watch you, they are watching you because they enjoy the content that you are making. They are enjoying the person that you are putting on. Now, if so, don't be afraid to like make mistakes and mess up, because if you have the right following, they're going to tell you if you've messed up on something, and they're going to give you a chance to fix it. So don't be afraid to just make a mistake, and like that's just going to ruin everything. Like, oh no, I streamed this game and it went horribly. Like, so just don't stream it again. Like, if your chat's not enjoying it, if you're not enjoying it, like that's okay. It happens. Like, you have to be willing to like take risks, and put yourself out there, because that's what we are doing. When you become a content creator, you are putting yourself out there for anyone in the world to see. So you have to really be brave about this. So that's my next step, is just don't be afraid.
Nice, nice. Yeah, agreed. So my next tip is probably my favorite tip. So it's gonna be my favorite. It doesn't matter if you're streaming to 0 people or 10,000 people. Treat it exactly the same. Be completely genuine and don't be discouraged by the numbers. In fact, I recommend don't even looking at the numbers until after the stream if you're even going to do it. But don't let anything affect your emotions in regards to numbers. Whether you go in thinking you're going to get $1 million in bits or thinking you're going to have 1 million viewers. Don't worry about it. Be consistent. Things happen over time. Rome wasn't built in a day, and I'm sure everyone's tired of getting of hearing that.
No, I'm not tired. You're 100% correct. Uh, I have, for this entire year, I've kept my viewer count off. I've not looked at it. I refuse to look at it or talk about it. I 100% agree with that. So for my next tip here, if I'm thinking about like everything that I've struggled with as a content creator, and streamer, uh, I would say don't do gimmicks. And this is gonna come off weird, because I know I've done some, and I still have some, but I will go I'll go to some especially newer streamers, and I get that they're trying to like get that wow factor, right, to capture an audience, but it doesn't last. Like, if you are planning to like, especially if you're streaming on Twitch and like every time you get a new follow, you're going to do a weird dance, you're going to get sick of it. It gets boring, it gets old, it gets annoying, it gets tired. Just don't do gimmicks. I cannot stress that enough. Like, if you anything you add to your stream or to your content, be prepared to do that 1 million times. If you're not prepared for that thing to happen 1 million times, don't do it.
Yep.
Because you won't enjoy it. Your viewers will get tired of it as well. Like, just get rid of it.
Yep. I remember that I used to just cover my body in post-it notes, and after every follower, I'd remove one until I got naked. And it got so tiring of people objectifying my beauty. It's crazy.
Great example. Great example. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Man, we've got a dope list right now. So coming in at number 10, man, it's really hard to come up with something to kind of be the anchor of this scenario. But if I was going to put out there the anchor or number 10, it's treat it like a job, but be passionate about it, because if you aren't passionate about it and you do things exclusively as if it's work, treat it like a career, I guess I would say. And put your passion into it. And if you're not passionate about some part of it, either don't do it or find a way to become passionate about it or twist it into something you're passionate about, because doing something you dislike over and over and over and over again will end up leading to failure. You'll end up getting tired of it very quickly.
You'll burn out. Yeah.
Yeah. So just ignore the things that you basically don't like, or
Yeah.
find a way to turn it into something that you do like to some degree, because doing something you hate is never the answer. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. No, I think that's a perfect 10th tip. You need to, if you're gonna take this seriously, you need to like kind of almost balance, like there are gonna be aspects of this that feel like work, that feel like a job, but you need to find a way to push through it and still enjoy making it, because your viewers and the people around you will be able to tell like how you're feeling, right? It's gonna be on your face, on your gestures, how you speak, like, so if you're not prepared to work through that, it's just it's not gonna be fun for everyone. And realistically, this whole thing in making content, you're putting on a show, like I said before, so like shows need to be entertaining. Like that's the point of why we consume this level of content, is we are looking to be entertained. It is an art form on its own, and so you are providing that service and that art to the populace. So if you're not passionate about, putting that out there, people are not going to be passionate about consuming it.
Yep, exactly. I've had many a teachers in my days who just did not have the passion behind teaching, and you could tell they were just forcing themselves to do it. It's honestly the worst. As a student or as someone who's trying to be entertained, it you see the disingenuine activity and you're just like, how can anyone watch this? How can anyone enjoy this? So just realize what you're passionate about and stick to it, because it's just the best way to go. People will notice passion, and people will also notice, someone not being genuine to themselves.
All right, so that's our list. Those are our top 10 tips. They are not in any particular order. There's nothing more important than another. This is just the 10 things that I think, based on our experience, that we can provide to newer content creators out there. If there's something that you think you agree with or don't agree with, or have some thoughts on, feel free to leave a comment down below. We would love to hear some more feedback on this. We ourselves are still trying to grow as well. Like, don't take this list as like this is the end all be all. Like, I mean, we're still trying to learn, and I think the more everyone recognizes that we're all in the same space, just trying to be better, it's better for everyone. So that is our podcast for today. Really enjoyed our time today. Perfy, thank you again for these awesome topics. You're really like knocking it out of the park. If you would like, I'm going to switch it over to your scene, and you can give yourself a little outro, shout yourself out, let us know anything upcoming for you. I'll switch it back to me, do the same thing, and then we'll look to end the episode for today. Sound good?
Sounds dope. So yeah, going over to me, nothing crazy going on for me. I've been spending a lot of time practicing and getting ready for tournaments for Grand Archive. So apologies that I haven't been around nearly as much as I should be. But I'm going to start trying to. I'm definitely going to be here every Wednesday for podcast day. I'm going to start adding more consistency after my next big tournament, which is coming up later this month. I've been practicing with some really high-end people, and so I want to make sure that I'm giving the attention because they deserve. But yeah, that's all for me. I'm just going to try and come back around and stick to that consistency that we speak to.
All right. And again, you can find us on Twitch. Perfy is over on Twitch as Perfy. I'm over here on Mr. Player 2. As far as things coming up for me, I'm still doing my year of streaming. So we're currently on day 248, working our way through. As far as big plans right now, I don't think we have any major things coming up. There's been some talks about we've run an amateur draft league in the past before, so we might be looking into bringing that back, but it'll be much later, like probably like maybe like a winter season, something like that, if that were to occur for League of Legends. I've got some things coming up. I coach a high school esports team, so I'm hoping we've got 3 teams participating this year, so I'm thinking maybe you can you all can be on a lookout. I'm trying to work on getting some of those games casted and showcase it a little bit. So we've got that going on. But other than that, yeah, just trying to make it through every day one at a time. I recently had COVID, which is why my voice sounds a little scratchy and weird. But we're still moving on strong. I do want to plan something cool for maybe towards the end of the year. It's kind of a blow up bash for making it for the 365 days, but I don't want to. I'm scared to plan it because like I don't want to like jinx myself. But yeah. Anyways, bringing us back. Perfy, again, wonderful podcast today. Really enjoyed it. Make sure you check us both out on Twitch. You can also check me out. I'm posting these videos over on YouTube, as well as making some shorts on TikTok. So I'm basically Mr. Player 2 on pretty much all platforms. My boy Perfy is doing some stuff on. Do we still say Twitter, Perfy, or do we say X now? Like, what is it? Like, give me the lowdown.
You could say either, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I don't stream on Twitter anymore because now you have to pay to be a content creator and streamer on Twitter. So it's all YouTube and it's all Twitch for me now.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and as always, we are part of the Intermediate Gamers Network. It is a community that me, Perfy, and some other friends have created. Feel free to join our Discord if you'd like to be a part of what we've got going on. It's discord.gg/intermediate gamers network, and you can find us there. Make sure you leave some comments below. Two things we want to hear from you guys. First off, what is your top 3 peanut butter based sandwiches? Hit us up in the comments. Let us know. I want to hear from you guys. And then as far as the tips go, do you have some better tips? How do you feel about ours? Feel free to comment. If you like what you see, like and subscribe. And as always, we appreciate you all being here. Until next week, we'll see you all then. Bye.
Final note, if any of you put mayonnaise and peanut butter, you're banned.
You're banned. All right. And on that, we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Bye.
Thank you.